I started filming and then realised that I hadn't made my cup of tea yet, and I couldn't do 2 talks with tea in a row without a cup of tea because that would just be straight up lying to you guys. That's false advertising right there. Anyway, the first thing that I absolutely definitely need to do is apologise for not posting a video last Sunday as I planned to and promised to even. So in order to explain why I didn't film last Sunday, I'm going to move the 5th prompt of non-bookish happenings forward to spot number 1 and just tell you a little bit about what's been going on in my life for the last 2 weeks so you understand why I didn't do any filming. So basically what happened is I had a meeting with my boss for the workplace that I've been working at for the last 4 years and was told that they wanted me to drop down from full-time work, which is 40 hours a week, to 3 hours a day, which is 15 hours a week, which is both less than half of the amount of money that I have been earning for the last 4 years and also less money than I need to pay rent for the month, let alone anything else. So that was what I was told last Friday, and I planned on filming my Sunday video on the weekend, but spent all of the weekend just in a bit of turmoil, really, and then have spent this last week scrambling together my resume, ready to start looking for new work situations. So it's been a bit crazy. It's been a bit of a crazy couple of weeks, and yeah, I didn't get to film anything last Sunday because I spent most of the weekend being an emotional wreck. Let's talk about some books, yo, because that's way more interesting than talking about my nearly jobless situation. Okay, so I am currently still reading this book, Between the World and Me, but I am up to here now. Page 143 out of 151, so I will finish this by the end of the day, hopefully. Speaking of which, it's actually due back at the library today, so I have to finish it today. That's what I'm currently reading. It's taken me 2 weeks to read this, even though it's so tiny, just because of obviously everything that's been going on. It's been a bit of a crazy week, and because I did find the writing of this very difficult to sort of get underneath, for lack of a better word. So I've been struggling with getting through that, which is embarrassing. But I will finish that today, and when I finish that, I will be moving on to homegoing, finally. Very excited about this. If you've been living under a rock and you don't know what homegoing is about, it is the story of 2 sisters in Africa, one of whom becomes a slave and the other one becomes a slaver's wife, or a slave trader's wife. And it follows the children of those sisters and then their grandchildren and the subsequent generations of those 2 sisters, and sort of the 2 aspects of, or 2 sides of slavery through the narrative of this family descended from these 2 sisters. So I am very excited to read this book. I also, every time I ever see this cover, it just makes me so happy because, like, it's just so beautiful. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment, is desperately trying to finish Between the World and Me, and desperately excited to start homegoing, and feeling a little bit embarrassed about the fact that it's taken me this long to read Between the World and Me when it's so short, but you know, life happens. So my latest Goodreads ad actually has kind of a funny story about it. It's probably not really that funny. But my latest Goodreads ad is Massif by Tamora Pierce, which is the 3rd book in the Becca Cooper series, which I read the first one of obviously a fair while ago because I was in high school still, and I read the first book because I got it for Christmas, but no one, including myself, ever thought to look out for the 2nd or the 3rd books, even though I really liked it. So then I was thinking about it the other day, and I decided to do a search to see what the 2nd and 3rd books in the trilogy were, and added them to Goodreads. Has anyone else read this series or any Tamora Pierce books? I haven't really heard of anyone on Booktube so far who has read any of the books by this author. She wrote the Alana the Lioness books, which I talked about somewhere recently on one of these videos, which is about a girl who disguises herself as a boy and takes her twin brother's place at the palace to learn how to be a knight, because she wants to be a knight. And she has, like, Tamora Pierce, she's got a whole bunch of books, fantasy books, which are all set in this one particular realm, following different people in this particular fantasy world that she's come up with, which is called Tortle, I think. Anyway, main point of that is, like, I've never heard of anyone else really talk about her books, and I'm wondering if I just imagined that they all existed. Has anyone else read any of her books? If you have, let me know in the comments, because I'm feeling a little bit nostalgic at the moment, so I'd love to talk about them with you. So next up is social media shoutouts, because I want to be spreading the love of all book readers across all social media platforms. I have 3 social media shoutouts for you today. The first one is to an Instagram account called Sumaya the Reader, who just has the coziest looking Instagram account I have ever seen. She posts photos of books, but she also posts photos of, like, just cozy looking things. And maybe cozy accounts aren't quite what you guys are looking for wherever you are in the world, but here in Australia it's slowly changing from summer to autumn, so it's starting to feel a bit more like it's time for cozy sweater weather and curling up on a couch with books, and Sumaya the Reader's account just gives you everything that you could ever want for a cozy day vibes. The second one is this account that I'm not going to try and pronounce the name of, but the link will be in the down bar anyway, and she just has the most gorgeous vintage photos. I think there's lots of tea involved and pretty florals as well as books, and just really nice vintagey warm vibes as well, which I have been really enjoying her photos too. And the final one is a shout out to Brittany Reads on Twitter, who also has a YouTube account, so if you're not following her on YouTube, maybe you should go and do that too. But she also often posts some very cool things on Twitter as well. I've had a lot of fun talking to her on Twitter over the last couple of weeks about various things, so I can guarantee that she's an interesting Twitter person to be friends with or to add to your network as well. So yeah. Non-bookish happenings I've already talked about, because I did that at the start. Non-bookish happenings is that I'm about to lose my job and now I'm trying to find a new one, and it's all very fun. Other non-bookish news, I discovered a very adorable little secondhand bookshop in Brunswick as I was exploring around town yesterday, and did take some video footage of that to share with you guys. This is not part of my Exploring Melbourne Through Bookshops series, because I wasn't prepared for this bookshop. This was a spontaneous discovery, but it was very cute, so I thought I'd share just a few little snippets of that with you guys, so I'll put that at the end of the video. I won't make a separate video of that because I didn't film too much. So this week in Booktube I have a Valentine's Day surprise for you, and Valentine's Day falls on a Tuesday, so I think you might have a bit of an idea about what that might be, eh? That was some terrible winking, I'm sorry. I should also have my discussion video for The Book Thief up later this week as well, talking about the themes and motifs and other literary book clubby style things that I have found in the book The Book Thief. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested at all. If not, it will be posted up anyway. And later this week also I will be posting some of my first February reading posts. I can't come up with any names for this theme for this month except for that, so I know it's terrible, but that's what it's called. And I'll be posting some videos related to that about how I read and annotate my books and how I rate my books and all kinds of other semi-related things, so keep an eye out for that if you're interested. If none of that interests you, for some bizarre reason, if there's literally nothing in that list of videos that interests you at all, then I will see you next Sunday, I guess, because for some reason all you're interested in is looking at this cup. And I mean, who am I to judge? That's cool.
I'm sure you're all wondering why I gathered you here today. Well, the truth is, I have some buttons for you to click.